All right, let's talk about the NFL here because the Cowboys and Bears are on the shores of Lake Michigan this afternoon. One of these offenses has looked strong to quite strong this season, and the other is the Bears. Caleb Williams and company still looking for their first win, still stinging after giving up 52 points in Detroit in their most recent loss. Tough way to make a living, though, trying to trade offensive punches with Dak Prescott and company. NFL reporter and pizza savant Jeff Darlington now with us from Chicago. And Jeff, what is the biggest aspect that needs improving, according to Bears head coach Ben Johnson?
Well, to quote Allen Iverson, practice. And not in the way that Allen Iverson referenced it. Ben Johnson wants to see better practice. He said on Wednesday that he doesn't feel like that his team is practicing hard enough. His team, for that matter, did say that they felt that message. Caleb Williams saying that he understands what his coach is trying to say by it and that they can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. And they did say that practice was better this week. What exactly does that mean? Ben Johnson just wants to see his players flying to the ball more often, just having more urgency. He felt like the Lions themselves just simply played harder than they did last week. So a pretty blunt message, pretty intense one. We'll see how that works out. The bad news is the Cowboys offense is coming in here quite hot after their solid start. They're also coming in to play a Bears defense that is decimated by injuries. Check this out. I can't even keep this straight. They just played Jalen Johnson. They put Jalen Johnson on IR with a groin injury. Already ruled out Kyler Gordon, their top slot corner. Jalen Jones, depth cornerback with a hamstring injury. And also they're losing their best coverage linebacker in TJ Edwards. So we're talking about a team that is coming in here with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, with Dak Prescott playing very comfortably, saying he's as confident as he's ever been, and he obviously has a chance to grow on that in this one against a decimated Bears secondary.
Bears have lost 12 of their last 13 games dating back to last season, and it all started with a loss to another NFC East team, that Hail Mary loss in Washington. Jeff, thank you, sir.
From Darlington to Damien Woody with us now in the studio to talk about this matchup here, Damien. Cowboys faithful may need to put their earmuffs on. What is the fatal flaw suffering the Cowboys right now?
It's the defense. It's the defense. Anyone who's been watching the Dallas Cowboys defense, clearly you can see this defense, particularly the back end, the secondary of the defense, there's a lot of issues going on, primarily communication on the back end. Anytime you let Russell Wilson come in and throw the ball for almost 500 yards against your defense, you have major issues going on. And so if you're the Dallas Cowboys, we know what the Dallas Cowboys offensively with Dak and those weapons can do. But if you have any hopes of making the playoffs and making some type of noise in the playoffs, you have to bring some type of defense with you, and that's a big issue for the Dallas Cowboys right now.
All right, if the defense is their fatal flaw, does that mean this is a huge opportunity for the quarterback they face today, Caleb Williams?
Absolutely, absolutely. When you're facing a team that, again, has been getting burnt like the Dallas Cowboys defense, it can bring confidence to a young quarterback. We know that Ben Johnson has really have to deconstruct Caleb Williams, break him down and build him back up. Well, what better way to build up a young quarterback than a defense in the Dallas Cowboys that's been struggling? So I think this game's going to be a shootout. It could come down to who has the ball last in this game.
49.5 is the total. If we see a shootout, we need 50 or more points. By the way, the Bears have lost 6 straight home games, so not just Caleb struggling, the entire team. Longest active L streak at home in the NFL.
For their first win of the season, they just let up a 50-burger to the Lions in week 2, and this week they welcome America's team to Chicago. Matt Eberflus coming back to his old stomping grounds, of course, on the other side with the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys did allow Russ Wilson to throw for 450 yards last week, so it's not like their defense is like the golden standard of the NFL either, but still, Chicago looking pretty out of sync on offense. And when it comes to Dallas's offense, you know that Dak Prescott and company can put up some points, can't they? All right, let's welcome in our NFL analysts Mike Renner and John Breach here to discuss. Matt Eberflus back in Chi-Town, but this time as the Cowboys DC gentleman. So what are your expectations for this Cowboys defense in Chicago? And it feels like, Breach, they really can't stop a nosebleed based off of what I've seen over the last 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Matt Eberflus is going to be walking in there with a little bit of confidence, saying, hey, look, it wasn't my fault. Chicago was a disaster when he was there, but things have not exactly been fixed now because they are once again 0-2, still looking for their first win. And I think if you're the Cowboys defense, this has the potential to be a get-right game for them. Yes, you just mentioned that, Jacqueline, that Russell Wilson did throw for 450 yards, but they actually played pretty well against the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 1. We saw them essentially shut down Philadelphia in the second half. So if you come with that kind of strength and show up in Chicago and they play that way, they could certainly limit the Bears. We saw the Lions limit the Bears in Week 2. Caleb Williams seems like he's still trying to figure out his way through this Ben Johnson offense. So the Bears don't really have that home run threat that the Giants had with Malik Neighbors. So you have a Bears offense that could struggle, and this could be a revenge time for Eberflus.
I'll just say this about the Cowboys. Everyone knew. The Cowboys brass knew going into this season that this wasn't going to be a good defense. When you start Kaiir Elam, we all saw what he was in the playoffs last year above Buffalo. When you're starting him at one of your cornerbacks and when you trade your best player on the eve of the season, I mean, what else is Matt Eberflus supposed to do? It's just not going to be great there in Dallas.
Yeah, my fiance, as you guys know, is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, and every single game, he's like, man, it really feels like we could use a star pass rusher. How about that, right? All right, we're going to look at impact players to watch for both teams. On the Cowboys side of things, we're looking at the offense, and Mike, your impact player to watch is George Pickens, who had a very crucial touchdown in that OT win against the Giants.
Yeah, it's the secondary for the Chicago Bears is very susceptible right now. No Jalen Johnson, no Kyler Gordon. That means they're probably still going to put all their attention, guys like Tyreek Stevenson, who is still your star there, on CeeDee Lamb, and just say, you know, we'll take our chance with George Pickens. And that rapport's got to get right with Dak Prescott. It's been slow rolling. Maybe that touchdown gets them going, gets them back on the same page, but this is the game. If George Pickens is going to have a game, this is the game that he needs to roll. I think he goes big. I mean, this feels like it's only a matter of time, given how talented this guy is, given how talented Dak is, before this rapport really develops into something special. Should be this week.
Yeah, Mike and I are absolutely on the same page. My impact guy is Dak Prescott. And yes, that is the obvious guy because he is the quarterback. But let's look at what the Bears have done this season. The NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Week 1 was J.J. McCarthy. The NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Week 2 was Jared Goff. What do they have in common? They both played the Bears. So you play the Bears defense and you are a quarterback, you can put up big numbers. Mike just kind of alluded to how beat up that secondary is. They're going to be missing Pro Bowl quarter Jalen Johnson. And now they're going to be forced to not just stop George Pickens, they also have to figure out how to stop CeeDee Lamb. So when you have one of the best receiving duos in the NFL against a beat-up secondary, and you have Dak Prescott throwing passes to them, this feels like a game where we could see Dak get close to the numbers he put up last week against the Giants. I think it was 360 yards. Maybe he tops it. So I think this could be a huge week for Dak Prescott.
Breach, I feel like your thought process is the same way that we think in terms of fantasy, right? Like, who should our starting quarterback be? It's like, whoever's going up against this Bears defense, right? As for the Bears in general, Breach, who is the difference maker that you're going to be looking to for this game?
Well, for me, it's DeAndre Swift, but my answer